actually in the office today. Roxana has a well-deserved 2 days off. She's been working extremely hard these last few weeks. For those of you guys who don't know, we just had our very first mock loan signing event in person, and it was amazing. It was this past weekend, and now we're about to get on track. We've got a lot of stuff to do. August is upon us, and we've got to get on track. Okay, so August the 1st is the deadline. Well, let me back up. Notary Nerds has been started out as this place where, you know, we could get some niche notarial training live, okay? And it started out so that people wouldn't have to learn just by watching videos, that they could actually interact with the instructor, ask questions, and all of those wonderful things. So what's happened over the last 7 months is that we've had all of these live classes, and now we've got this amazing library of basically video replays. So when you log in, it can be a little bit overwhelming on where do I start, what do I do, how do I focus, because there is a lot at Notary Nerds University. So I've heard all of the feedback. You guys have been awesome and giving me good constructive criticism to help grow Notary Nerds University and make it the best that it could possibly be. And one of those things is we have got to get focused. We have got to get in a situation where we have our laser sharp focus on the direction that we're going to head our business in. Now, that having been said, it's time to develop some structure. So like I said, once we began, it was one of those situations where, hey, we've got classes on classes and everything was live and it was fresh and it was new. But the unintended consequence of all of those classes is this huge amount of information now that when someone new comes in for the first time, it's overwhelming. It's like, what? Like, where? I love it, but where do I begin? So now, effective July the 1st or June, we made a pivot. If you guys have been around me for any length of time, you know what it means to pivot. It means when something isn't working, you change it and you turn into a direction of new prosperity, hopefully, right? So we pivoted. Instead of just being a place of just constant learning, we are still going to bring content, but we want to move your business forward. So the theory is the information that we have at Notary Nerds University is sufficient enough for you to take and monetize with certain steps. And one of those steps is defining your business. What is your first department? In other words, say you're a Walmart, you got the shoe department, you got the grocery department, you've got the health and beauty. Which department are you going to open up first in your business, in your operation? And the way that you determine that department, if you will, is by declaring a major. So that's what this video is about getting you guys kind of caught up who are new on kind of the story behind Notary Nerds and how it was and where it's going and how we're changing, to those of you guys who have been around for a while, giving you that much needed structure that you've been asking for in order to move your business forward. Hey, Joan Trott, welcome. I keep getting emails, guys. So welcome to those of you guys that are new. I am so excited for you because actually, if you're coming into the Notary Nerd space for the first time, you're actually in a really good position because you don't have to go through all of the gobbledygook. We're at a place right now where we've had enough information to be able to formulate the best steps to move forward with a notary business. We're not gonna really at this point be wasting a lot of time. And you guys that are new and plugging in are going to get the benefit of that knowledge. You're not going to have to waste 3 months, 4 months, 5 months doing the wrong things, right? So when it comes to declaring your major, there's 3 majors that you can declare at Notary Nerds. You can be a loan signing major, traditional, meaning that you will go to the company or go to the signer, travel, do the loan signings, or go to the title company, wherever. That's traditional, but you're in person doing that loan signing. The other major is loan signings, but RON. So if your focus is going to be on RON because you are currently doing them, then that, or you're about to start doing them, then you can also major in loan signings with the RON emphasis. The third major is general notary work. Okay, and general notary work is basically GNW. We abbreviate it GNW for short, but it's everything else. It's everything that does not have anything to do with with loan signings. Okay, so that's your apostille, your notary permit runner. That's doing the estate plans. That's working with attorneys. Anything that needs to be notarized outside of a loan signing would fall under the general notary work major. So those are your three options. Now, at Notary Nerds, what we're going to do is, starting on August the 15th, we're going to unlock exams. So for those of you guys who have been taking the classes and watching them, in Notary Nerds University, there, beside the video that we're going to use for the exam, there will be assessment, the word assessment. When you're logged in and you're watching a replay and you notice that the word assessment is on that replay, that means that we are using that particular video to develop the exam or the assessment for that class. All right? So declaring your major has a couple of parts, and I think I might have skipped one. So after we discuss those three majors, you have to tell me which one of those you want. And there's an email that goes out. That's already went out once, but I'll send it out again. And what I'll probably have to do is just put it inside of the university itself. As a matter of fact, I will just put a video and the appropriate links inside the university itself, showing you guys how to actually declare your major. Some of you already have done that. Thank you very much for doing so, because you responded to the link in the email that you got. Now, if you haven't done that, don't worry. It will be in the university, and it will be in the university shortly. Anonymous says, therefore, the $35 will go away. I'm not sure, Anonymous, what you're talking about. Elaborate on that for me so I can help better answer your question. So when you declare your major, by clicking on this link and telling me, hey, I'm going to focus on loan signings, the traditional route. I'm going to focus on loan signings, the RON route, or I'm going to focus on general notary work, right? You're going to tell me those. You're going to click there and tell me that. Then there's several minors, okay? But before we even start worrying about the minors, and you don't have to declare a minor. You can just completely forget about declaring a minor if you don't want that extra burden of work. But okay, sorry about that. It's buffering. Okay, let me come back to your comment. I see here, I can't find how do I read these comments? So right now at Notary Nerds, the classes are actually $37 a month. So I think that's probably what you're talking about. The membership at Notary Nerds is $37 a month, and it includes access to all of the classes on the platform. So there's over 40-something classes. Now you're asking, is it going to go away? No, that's not going to go away. That's what gets you access to those classes. So what's going to happen is those classes are going to be available to you. You're going to declare your major by clicking on the link. And also, again, I'm going to be putting all of that information actually in the university. But you're going to declare your major, and then on August the 15th, you're going to begin taking your exams. The exams won't be available until then. So that $37 a month is just a part of your, I guess, subscription, your membership to Notary Nerds University. Hopefully you can get with your tax professional at the end of the year and deduct it in some way for as far as training for your business. Now that that's out the way, what you're going to do once you take your exam is to pass it with a 90% or better. The exam is going to be open book, so you'll be able to watch the video and take the assessment. The assessment is going to be a combination of fill in the blank, multiple choice, and true and false questions. The assessment developers, the people who are actually developing your exams right now, are sitting and watching them very closely and trying to get questions that will trip you up if you haven't paid attention. So it's not going to be an easy breezy cover girl type of an exam. So even though it's open book, you're going to still have to be knowledgeable enough in what's happening for you to be able to pass it. It's not going to be timed though, so you'll have plenty of time to take it. Sharisa says, what about creating a curriculum, or is that on you to create? Actually, no, that's a really great question, Sharisa. I actually have started to put together a curriculum for the notary business model, And that's basically how I've structured the major and the minors, meaning that in order for you to get to your major, you've got to complete 28 credits of these other classes. Those 28 credits include things like your Notary Business 101, 102, 103. They include things like Square invoicing. They include things like Google My Business. They include those foundational tools that your business will need in order to be presentable, professional, out into the marketplace as you pursue direct business, or as I look to joint venture with you on things. So that's the goal. If you guys didn't know, when I started Complete Signings, which is the owner of Everything Notary Nerds, when I started Complete Signings back in October of last year, I set out to start a signing service. As a matter of fact, I got this office because I'm also a real estate broker, and I saw the notary space as a great way to mimic the brokerage model. And if you guys don't know what I mean when I say brokerage model, that is, there's a real estate broker and then there's agents. And every time the agents go make money, the real estate broker gets a little piece of it. The real estate broker provides certain things, and in exchange for that, the agents pay every single month a monthly fee to participate in what the broker is providing. So I was going to take that model, that's what my initial goal was, and set out to do that exact same thing in the notary space. So here we are about 8 months later, back in that same spot, but now I want to make sure that I have a lot of different little businesses across the country to do business with. So I'm always recruiting. That's what the Notary Nerds Facebook group was all about from the very beginning, is to find really super smart notaries who wanted to do things right the first time. So now though, after all of these months of learning and all of these different things, the focus is on targeting your audience, targeting the audience that you need to focus on in order to bring in the revenue. So as I've been running Notary Nerds, I've also been a student of Notary Nerds and learned several things about that process. And I think there is a morning meeting that I'm supposed to be in right now, here in just a moment. So I'm going to start that here while we also chat. So long story short, structuring Notary Nerds University with these 3 majors, each of those majors requiring 28 credits that I mentioned some of before, will ensure me, as someone who is looking at you to recruit you possibly, or just someone who wants to just see you win as a business owner, will ensure me that you have everything covered. You've got all of your foundational things done. You've got a business bank account. You've got an EIN. You've got all of the, you got a internet presence. I'm not so stuck on it being a website now that I've become more familiar with ClickFunnels. So things, have changed with regard to that. So this is the reason why it's important for you to declare your major, because again, your major is your department, your first department in your store. Your store is the notary business, and your first department is going to be whatever it is you declare as your major. And once you set that department up, then you're going to need to figure out how are you going to get customers to come shop at your department in that particular part of your store, okay? And for me, my department is first and foremost notaries. That's my first department, and that's where everything Notary Nerds is, because my first primary customer is the notary. My secondary customer is the attorney. So because I've taken Rachel's business model class at Notary Nerds, which I highly recommend, I understand my primary, my secondary, and my tertiary customer. I'm about to pivot on my tertiary because I started out with one, spent a lot of money, that didn't work out, so we're pivoting, and that's what you do as an entrepreneur. But because I know from taking those classes at Notary Nerds who my customers are, now I'm focusing on getting the attorneys. Obviously, my notaries are my first, but getting the attorneys involved now even further enhances my primary customer relationship. Well, how? Well, that's because once I've gotten these notaries up and running, they're clear on what their business focus is, they've got some receipts in that area, and we'll talk about that here in a second. Now I can put them inside of this Notary Nerds network, right? And I can use my sales funnel that I'm going to be using to attract the attorneys to say, hey, come search in this network for free. Come search for these amazing notaries for free inside the Notary Nerds network. And you don't ever have to worry about a mobile evening notarization or a RON notarization, having to look around for someone to do that, you could just hop in this network, search your zip code or search your city or your state. Those notaries will come up and you can just connect with them directly at no cost. So that is about to be what's happening in September with the Notary Nerds Network. So that's why it's so important for you to declare your major now, figure out who it is you want to serve. Again, some of you already have an email with instructions on how to declare your major. Those of you who don't have that email, give me this weekend. I'm going to be updating the inside of Notary Nerds University all weekend so that we can actually not be overwhelmed and you'll be able to understand, okay, how do I join Notary Nerds Network again? How do I declare my major? How do I do this? How do I do that? We're going to get all of those things clearly defined for you in some short instructional videos at Notary Nerds University. And I think that's going to help out a lot of people. So that's the thing. You're going to declare your major by as soon as possible. One thing about declaring your major, and then I'll probably have to hop off of here. One thing about declaring your major is that you're going to want to make sure that you pass the exam with a 90% or better. But in order to graduate, it's one thing to declare your major, but it's another thing to graduate. And in order to graduate, okay, you're going to actually have to have receipts in your major. So in order for you to declare your loan signing major, you click the link, you pass the exam with 90% or better, fine, you're done. But if you want to graduate with that loan signing major, then you're going to actually have to go out and do a loan signing, okay? So that's the way that we're restructuring Notary Nerds University to give you guys a way to move your business forward so you don't get stuck in the analysis paralysis, constantly learning new things. And, guys, it's third quarter, and if you haven't been self-employed for very long, it's going to be slowing down here pretty soon. It's just typical if you're doing anything related to the real estate or the mortgage industry. Fall, when school goes back, and then when winter and the holidays come, things just typically tend to slow down. But now is a really great time for us because we can actually get everything situated, get our focus on who we're going to focus on, and then target them exclusively. Like with me, I know that the foreclosures are going to start going crazy here in a little bit. So I want to position myself and other notaries to be able to provide virtual notary case management support to these attorneys, to these real estate attorneys, and also the divorce attorneys seem to be very busy as well. So we're about to just kind of pivot ourselves and be ready to be the support that they need, and making sure that we have all of our ducks in a row before we do that. So that's what's happening. I'm going to log probably into this Zoom real quick. Did anybody have any questions for me on the live? Let me see here. There we go. Awesome. Y'all are welcome. You're very, very welcome. You are very welcome. Okay, what about minors? Okay, I think we kind of touched on, you don't have to create a minor unless you want to, Sharissa. You can, but the minor would be your second department. And I really think it's important for everybody to start focusing on the one thing that's going to bring them in revenue. Yeah, membership. Oh, Zan Cherie, thank you. Congratulations. Welcome to the fam. That's awesome. So revenue is our focus because, again, we're getting ready to go into a fall and winter kind of a normal slowdown just with signings, I'm assuming. I know that other areas, other legal areas are still busy. Foreclosures are going to be busy probably. You're probably still going to see a lot of, like I say, divorce attorneys, and you're probably going to see a lot of bankruptcy. As a notary, you are so lucky. By you taking the step and, taking an oath or an affirmation saying that you're not going to do any harm to the public, by you, getting certified, getting your background check, you are already vetted, okay? When you approach an attorney can look at you and say, hey, you've got errors and omissions insurance. You might even have an LLC. You might be so together that an attorney is like, okay, you know what? I can train you to do the other stuff that I need you to do. You've already passed the halfway mark because you've already got a background check. You are a public official, so if you do anything out of the way, it's going to be pretty easy to hold you accountable. You got errors and omissions. You might even have a bond. You got all of these protective devices around you that make me comfortable doing business with you, make me comfortable allowing you to help my clients, make me comfortable bringing you into my business as an asset, right? This is the power of being a notary. It's not just in what we can do with the stamp. It's that and being of service to the public. However, to be honest with you, you could actually do that for free and still build your value around those other things, honestly. Because there's so many people that need trustworthy human beings to get things from one place to the next, to handle things from one place to the next, or to process things in their business. Let's see here. Yeah, Denise says, let's see here. If we pass other classes and see, will they apply to our major? Oh, great question, Anonymous. Those certificates, as far as the ones that you've already passed, we've only had 2, I think, Ron and the Apostille. If you've done the Ron and the Apostille, yes. If you pass with a 90 or better, those will go towards your credit. We still think you should probably take the exam, though, just because it's going to affect your rating on the Notary Nerds Network. So definitely still take the exam when they post up. But you do have, if you've already passed it, you could be considered passed for that class. For those that have existing existing certificates. Zan Cherie said, I started last night. Yay, Denise Eccles. Will I have time to set up my profile before the 1st? Yes, so that's a great question. Once you signed up, you should have received an automatic invitation inviting you to join the Notary Nerds Network. Follow those instructions on joining. You'll get what's called a purchase confirmation in your inbox once you sign up. It's a free thing, but it still says purchase confirmation. That's how you'll log back into the Notary Nerds Network. Keep in mind, the Notary Nerds Network is completely separate from the Notary Nerds University website. Okay, I don't want you guys to think they are the same login, because they're not. All right, hold on, let me type this in correctly. I've got to get Antonice. She's probably in there waiting on me. Alrighty. All right, guys, thank you for your patience. But yeah, so that was it. I wanted to talk to you guys about declaring your major and making sure that you knew exactly what to do in that regard. So let me see here. I think, yeah, I'm a little bit behind in getting on this meeting, so she might have been gone already. All right, so that's it. That's all I have. I'm going to hop off of here. I'll do an update video and put those in Notary Nerds over the weekend. Oh, a really quick note. We will not have book club this Saturday. We were going to resume book club this Saturday with Think and Grow Rich. You do need to, and book club is something that we do. It's free, that anyone can join on Saturday morning. It's basically with us getting together at 9 o'clock Central Time. The Zoom link is in our Facebook group. For those of you who aren't members of the Notary Nerds Facebook group, please join. We're about 11,000 members strong now. Be sure to answer all of the admissions questions in order to be admitted. But the whole thing about that book club is to help us move forward. Help us really stay sharp and up to date and with the right mindset. And so we've read several books this year, and the book we're in process of reading is Think and Grow Rich by Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. So we were going to start that on Saturday, but we're going to push that off because I've got a big day on Saturday and I just can't squeeze it in. So so hopefully next Saturday, the first week of August, Saturday the first week of August, we'll resume. Make sure you've read the introduction through chapter 2. Introduction through chapter 2, and that's Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Because a lot of the things that we need are mindset related when it comes to growing our business, and we may or may not realize that. So that is all I have. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and thank you so much for being a part of the Notary Nerds family. Again, it's all about declaring your major so that you can get focused. If you want to declare a minor, that's fine. That's great. They will be your first and second departments in your store. If you could think of your store as your business, or your business as a store. And that's the reason that we're declaring them. We're getting focused on what we're going to target, and we're going to get that foundation knowledge done as well, all of those 28 credits. So thank you guys so much for being a part of this. I really am excited about it. If you haven't taken my pricing training, it's only going to be free. If you haven't joined Notary Nerds, you can still get that pricing training for free. Just visit pricingfornotaries.com. Again, that's www.pricingfornotaries.com. I think there's another 24 hours where you can take advantage of that free training. And obviously, if you're a member at Notary Nerds University, that training is available to you at your convenience whenever you want to watch it. So you guys have a great, great afternoon, and I'll talk with you later. Peace.